Oh, that's me. Hi, everybody. My name is April DeMito, and I'm going to be your professor for the next 12 weeks. I generally start each session with an orientation a video that I make, and that's followed by weekly video announcements. I typically have that submitted on Monday, but I was having some technical issues with the program. It wasn't, there was no audio, so I am redoing it today. So as you can see, that's me down in the corner there. And I am going to go on Canvas here. And this is what my dashboard looks like. So yours is going to look a little different. I am currently teaching 5 classes this term, and your class is the Women's Health. I'm teaching 2 sections, 114 and 116. And on the far left side, you can see that I have the dashboard, courses, and then calendar. We're going to go to calendar next. So I hope that this is not a new concept for you, the use of the calendar. This is something that your other professors were supposed to be using, and I certainly hope they have been. But in the event they haven't, I'm going to go over it a little bit. The calendar gives you an idea of when all of your assignments are going to be due. So I start with week 1. Now yours is not going to look as busy as mine is because I have the coursework for 5 different classes on each day, and you'll only have the one you're taking. But week 1 starts on Monday. That's always the beginning of our week. In this course, you're going to see that most of the assignments are due either on Wednesday or Sunday. And I do that because I've been teaching for Olivet for many years now. I started out when the FMP program began here, and uh, this is what I have found students prefer. Now, of course, I know it isn't going to fit the needs of everybody, but uh, from what I have found is that it meets the needs of most. So um, let's see. Introduction is going to be due on Wednesday. And so you have to have your introduction form done and posted. And then you have your first paper due on Sunday. Now, that paper, I did post yesterday a video that gives you some idea as to how to format the paper. I'm quite a stickler with APA format and form because you all have gone through research and you've written lots of research papers up to this point. So you should have a good understanding of how to put together a scholarly paper. I don't require abstracts. However, the other format needs to be correct. You need to have a heading with a paper with headings. Sometimes I have students turn in papers that are more essay type, and that's not acceptable at this level. However, I do believe that that presentation I posted for you yesterday is going to give you a good idea of what I'm expecting. And then we are going to begin week 2. And week 2, we have our first experience with case study discussions. And let's see, women's health is green and orange this time. So I changed the colors so it's a little easier for me to see. And so all case study discussions are going to be due on Wednesday. Now, for this course, I have found that it works best to not divide you into groups. You may have been divided into groups in other courses, but I don't do that in women's health. You are expected to answer all of the questions on an individual basis, and you're supposed to be doing that whether you're in a group or not. And then you need to interact with each other. And I'll go into that a little bit more when we get into the module section. So, week 2, your case study, and that means you've read the case study, you've answered all of the questions at the end of this case study, and you've posted them. Now, throughout the rest of the week, it's your job to respond to your peers' responses and interchange dialogue amongst each other. Now, according to the MSN handbook, the minimum requirement for discussion posts is your original assignment. Then you are to respond to a minimum of 1 student, and you are also responsible to respond to someone who has commented on your post. Now, those are the minimum requirements. If you want to get full points, you have to go above and beyond that. So if you're just doing the bare minimum of 3 posts per case study, it's unlikely that you'll get the full points that are allotted for the week. I expect you to go above and beyond. Now, sometimes people just do such a phenomenal job on those 3 posts that I do give them full credit, but not often. All right, so let's see. I think the toughest week for you guys this term is going to be week 5 and 6. Week 5 and 6, you have a case study, and that case study is going to be something that you choose, a topic of your choice. It has to reflect current women's health issues, and we'll talk about that more as we get on in the term. So you have a case study due week 5. Then you also have paper 2 due week 5. And then you have your midterm exam coming up on week 6. So I do believe that that week, and I'm going to go back again, is probably going to be your most stressful time. So what I advise you to do is to stay ahead of the game as you possibly can. For example, I'm in my DNP program, and I knew that I was going to be so busy this week with 5 classes starting and working as a nurse practitioner. So I made sure that all of my assignments were in and posted well before they were due. So you don't have to wait until the paper is due to turn it in. The more jump on the game you can get, the better. All right, so I'm going to go back to courses. And I'm just going to pick 114. It doesn't matter. The content is the same in both of them. But I want to go over the modules a little bit so that you can see what's going on with those things. And of course, you know what? Course content is subject to change. I really try to keep it consistent, but that doesn't always happen. Sometimes we find out that links have stopped working, etc. We have to make some changes. So that's one of the drawbacks of online education. There are lots of pluses, but sometimes things don't work. So I've clicked on one of the first, the resource link. And in the resource link, you can see the instructor bio. That's me. I wrote a little synopsis of my career history for your reading enjoyment. And then we have prayer requests. The one thing that I really would like you to not use are the questions for instructor. For me to see the questions for the instructor, I have to be on my pad, my tablet, and I do so much on my smartphone uh, because I do a lot of my work in between patients, consults in the clinic. So if you have a question or concern, the best way to get in touch with me is to email me. Now, if I haven't emailed you back within a couple of hours, I didn't see or get your message for some reason. So email me again. If then I don't respond again, I want you to call me. Not call because I don't answer the phone. And if I don't recognize the number, send me a text message and tell me who you are, what course you're in, what section you're in, and then whatever your issue is. And then I'll respond to that immediately. And we have some APA format resources here. Great resources. We have Purdue OWL, which is great. I use a program. I have to write so many papers for my doctorate program that I use Perla. It just makes it a little easier for me. But you don't have to purchase any program if you don't want to. It's just kind of easy, and it saves all of your references and things. Okay, so here we have Examity. Now, this is my first experience with Examity. I'm very excited about the proctoring aspect of it, but this is one of the first things that you need to do this week is to sign up to take your exams. Not signing up isn't acceptable. So if the day of the exam comes and you send me a text or an email and you say, oh my gosh, Professor Demito, I forgot to sign up for Examity. I'm going to say, I'm sorry. Uh, it's too late. There isn't anything I can do. We're all adults, professionals, and masters prepared people. So this is something you have to do. Do it now before you forget. Now let's look at Module 1. And all of the modules are laid out very similarly. It starts out with an overview, and the overview is going to give you a roundabouts idea of what this week's discussion topic is going to be. And so when we get to week 1, it is in the beginnings, the history of women's health care. Now, directly above the overview, we have our devotion page, and it has a link to the Reflecting God website. It's a very informational website that has scripture and prayer requests that may be helpful for you. Then we have our objectives, and down here we have readings. Now, the Schuling's book is the main textbook that you're going to use, and the Schuling's book is what our tests are based on. So when you're studying for your exams, you're going to use that Schuling's book for reference. And we've got some nice links on life expectancy and sex differences and pain. And then we have the PowerPoints for the week. I am going to add PowerPoints on here that have audio because I know there's nothing that you would enjoy more than to hear my voice more often than you have to. I think that this is going to be advantageous for you. It makes it a little more easy to get through the content. Here's the link for the class introduction forum, and then we have 2 opportunities for you to write your paper and submit it to turn it in to check to make sure that you're under that 25%. And 25% is very generous. In this course, you're writing papers that um, are new and different. So it isn't as though you're carrying one over from the next class. So to have a turn it in score of 25 is really super generous. I would expect it to be more below 18 to 20. But the college has decided that 25 is okay, so I'll accept 25. And this tells you, now we go here, this is the assignment in itself, Women's Health Paper. So this is going to tell us a little bit about this. Now, National Women's Law Center Healthcare Report Card. And I've been having some trouble off and on with the link here. I do have the IT people putting a new link on, but I tell you what I did? I couldn't access the link when I was going through the course content. So I Google searched National Women's Law Center Health Report Card, and boom, it popped right up. So that's really all you have to do if you can't access the link. Now, anytime you're writing a paper, the best way to do it is to follow your rubric. You want it to be as clear and concise to the topic, the content of the topic as possible, because that's what I am looking at when I'm grading your paper. So that is that. And let's move forward a little bit. I want to show you one more. Oh, I've got to get this thing out of the way here. Module 2. Our Reflecting God in our overview. We have our objectives. And we have some other great resources here. Now, our case study discussion. I'm going to click on that so that you can see this. I wanted you to see the case study discussion. Now here, you click on the link, Our Daughter Didn't Want This, and read that case study. And then I want you to answer the questions that are at the end of the reading. That is going to be what everybody's responsibility is for this particular case study, and then you're going to discuss amongst each other. So I realize it's hard. I have to do discussion posts in my doctoral program too, and sometimes it can seem tedious, but this is how we get away with being able to do our coursework at home, and we're not in a classroom where we have the benefit of being able to interact with each other in a discussion manner, or so this is how we do it. Now, I don't want to bombard you with too much information right from the beginning. You'll see that if anything, I over communicate. So you'll be seeing that I have announcements quite often. And I, to be successful in this course, I think one of the things that you need to consider is number one, be open and honest with me, turn your assignments in on time, and follow the course calendar. Late assignments are not accepted. And communicate. So if you have any questions, as I said, reach out, and I look forward to working with you through the next 12 weeks. Have a good day.